I suddenly inherited a whole heritage of the East Coast. Because I was on the other side of Appalachians, you know, those poor country bumpkins out there. And so I married up, and it's been great ever since, and especially was true here because we move out here, and all these immigrants who came here from Newtown Square and Delaware County Christian School and Grace Chapel and all these places. They even have a Grace Chapel West we used to go to down at Willow Valley. And I also inherited all of Ocean City, sand and everything. I hadn't even seen the ocean until I was in high school. So I owe it all to my wife. In a lot of ways, the other things that I could mention here. But the other thought has just kind of come to my mind more recently in a more, kind of vivid way, is that we serve a living God. And as I look at my world and all the human efforts to solve every problem we have with science and technology and all these things, I think of those poor Philistines who had the Israelites. They wouldn't let them make any thing out of metal. They had to get down and get their pruning hooks made. It even gives you the price of getting your pruning hook made by the high-tech Philistines. And so the only difference between the high-tech Philistines and these rumpled little inadequate low-tech Hebrews that didn't know their way out of the desert, which you probably know the reason that they survived in the desert is because of the sandwich was there. That's how they got enough to eat. No. So, I mean, they had a living God. That was the main difference, a living God. And so I have really been blessed in thinking about how, because we, as Dayspring, and the privilege I have of being in the fellowship circle that you invited me into, whether you meant well or not, I don't know, but here I am, has really been a rich blessing to my wife and I. We really have benefited. And when we came, of course, George was up there pontificating, and I was approached if I would like to substitute teach sometimes. When we ever see Jim, because he married somebody that knew my wife, so he had the privilege of talking to me. He wanted to know if I would like to. I said I couldn't. I'm not up to it. I mean, I just felt so honored to be part of Dayspring. I didn't think I could get up in front of you all. So I just appreciated the privilege of being invited to do that during the earlier days, and then later to be elevated a little higher. But anyway, so thanks so much for your rich gifts to us in so many ways, and the blessing that you are. And I believe that we are on a journey to the celestial city. This isn't anything to do with the Yellow Brick Road either. but we just feel that after I'd say put out fleeces, well, maybe we should go to Calvary Homes. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. It just seemed like this little house that came up seemed just to be like, I think this is where we're supposed to go for now. And so we feel at peace about making this transition and trust that it is something the Lord has for us to be part of our trying to be good stewards of the days He's given us and the privileges we have. But certainly I don't know where it was, probably 40 years ago, we went down to the Mennonite Center and watched the little film down there. It was still a film. And they had this guy come out, standing in front of his barn. I think he was a Mennonite as opposed to an Amishman, and he quoted the Bible verse, which I can't give you the psalm for. It said, "My rains have fallen in pleasant places." And ever since I've come to the place where I watched that film, I have felt, yes, my reins, because I used to ride a horse and go to horse shows and do the barrel race and do the dollar race and do the pickup race and all that kind of stuff. And so whenever I ran up someplace and jumped off the horse and dropped the reins and rain tied it. I mean, I understood what he said. My reins have fallen in pleasant places. So it's been a real joy to be with you, and we don't expect to abandon our rich fellowship, but we will be a little out of the way. So I don't know, I'm beginning to wonder about this shovel. Because in Lancaster County, I think, even though I can't say that even yet, Lancaster. Lancaster. I'm not a native. So at any rate, I know that they use pitchforks and shovels for other things, and I'm not sure if there's something Ken's trying to sit down there.
This is so we can get through the backyard of our neighbors that have a big old dog. They don't clean up after. And we have to get through their yard to get to our sons.
Multi-use.
Yes, that's a